E from MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com. It's about 9:45 on Friday, the 12th of April, 2019. Reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. Well, I've suggested that the high is not in yet, that you're probably better off just closing your eyes and buying. If you don't like that game, don't play it. And we've identified probably that 13 and a quarter to 14.75 would be our next target. And I said, probably you're not going to beat that 05 to 02 early. So that was your risk if you were trying to buy the opening small range. And this is just one of those trades that works because we have a feeling that the boys are going to skin and the bots are going to skin all the aggressive shorts who are trapped and need to pay up to get out. Very hard for humans to do that, but I gave you the rationale for the targets. And today is just one of those days that if you can get your VIG, if you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 points, lock it. I told you I thought the high was not in yet. The question was, do they nab a few aggressives first, or do they just, create the new high first? And this trade kind of made sense in my mind. Just looking at the charts, there's a 15-minute chart. Here's the 5, and just understanding the squeeze type trade to get everybody early. Here's your 5. Look at this 5-minute chart. I said, I don't think you're going to break that 05 early. So in my opinion, anything that you bought above 05, that was your risk. Back to 05, that probably would not break, and probably the 02 would not break. So target is 14.75. And above that, that 17 becomes the next available target. And we said, let's just think really defensively like an egregious move. So 22 as our resistance. So paid by 14.75. And you're going to find whack-a-mole really will hurt traders today. We don't want to make the shorts pain our pain. And it doesn't mean we won't get a short that has a reasonable swing. But you're going to guess wrong 5 times before you guess right once. This is a type of trade you just get into, let it chew a little bit longer. You get your VIG, move your stops up. News is coming at 10 o'clock, so for sure, make sure you are paid, in my opinion, by 17. Obviously 14.75 target, but make sure by 17 or 10 o'clock you're done. 17's T1 today. So using that 17 to 22 as our normal resistance. And anybody wants to short, use 18 as your stop. And you should have some profits willing to risk before you even think about shorting. But now's a good time to make sure you're paid at our target. Consumer sentiment at 10. Thank you. So now we know, obviously, IB low is support until broken. And we'll look for laws of proportion and so on. But I said today it's going to be a tough day. This is the type of day where you can throw it up a little bit higher and then chew it in 2 and 3 point range, and then another, half a point higher, that kind of thing too. Paid for sure by the target, 14.75. Nice call, Zeke. Zeke had also look down the spreadsheets and pick that target too. Way to go. Okay, so now we can take, and based on the interval size, right? We can adjust this to the current size. And say that's our next resistance zone. This is our fighting box. And you must think like a bot. And if you want to be a good trader, you have to think and act like a bot. Against this kind of a grind, first and foremost, you are thinking, if I'm lucky, I will get 2 or 3 points against a rabid dog day. Then, if you get that, the next you're looking for is about a 5 to 7 point rotation max. And if you get the 10-point rotation early, that's just a dream come true. And that happens maybe 20% of the time. So I prefer to think 30% of the time, 40% of the time, you're going to get your 2 to 3 point rotations. And maybe about 50% of the time, you'll get that, 5 to 7 pointer. But it's always coming at you like whack-a-mole. And that's the problem with this type of a day is, who wants to give up 5 or 6 points to make 1 or 2 more? And yet it just keeps chewing alongside that way until finally hits its eventual target and stalls, and the boys say, no, you're not going farther. Still doesn't mean you're going to plunge. So this low right here, that sticks out like a sore thumb at 02 is the squeeze pivot that I have identified early. And then this is your next squeeze pivot back here. Clear. And there's a little profit taking ahead of news and range type trading. I do not encourage you to overtrade today. You get yourself your 3 or 4 or 5 points, be happy. You've done very well if you do that in today's trading. And that's the irony from a move like this to here, from yesterday. We know that there are going to be some rotations that'll be a bit larger and give us a little more, but we know we're fighting the trend in the squeeze right now. So probably a little bit later, get better odds for a scalp short. But for now, I've recommended be a bot and just go with the trend. Try to get to our target. And that target has been hit, 1475, and I'm considering gravy above it, but today may be a day with a little more gravy. Maybe not. You never know. I've suggested buy support in an uptrend. You get a pullback, you buy support. And if nothing else, I hope you've learned that throughout this course. Let everybody else keep trying to pick a top. We said that this was the long way home trade. Probably going to wake up today with a higher high. Thought that might have happened yesterday. When it didn't happen, it still did not deter my thought process because we held at 82 to 85. And when they came up here, I said, okay, that probably my vision overnight, I figured they were going to get to at least that 05 area, 05 to 08, at least. Just doing the math and doing looking at yesterday's targets and whatever. But I've learned that usually I'm very conservative about those targets, and usually it wants higher, and that's why I advise you this morning to think about it going up a little bit further and not just stall at that 08. So I'm learning more about myself and my conservative nature and saying, yeah, let's be egregious like the boys. That's probably what they're going to do. So a review of that quadruple top that everybody had talked about, or some people had talked about. Well, let's just do a 30. That quadruple top. 1, 2, 3, 4. I said, count this as 1 because they're spaced so close to each other. Count this as 2, and then this is your third time through trade. Stuff I'm sharing with you guys taking me a long time to understand. This is a false top. Everybody said, oh, quadruple top. No, it's not a quadruple top. It's a false top. And if you step back to this level, you can see the wedge. You have to step back far enough to see these patterns. There's your wedge. Right? Flat top. And then the higher, here's your second point right there. And then here is your higher low. So in this pattern, I'll do that, set that up so you can see that as well. And this is the breakout here, and then this is the confirmation right there. Took me a long time to start to understand these patterns, and you're never going to be right all the time, so don't think you are. Just this happened to work out the way I was talking, and long range, long way home trade. And even this concept right here that a lot of traders will miss is this is basically an inverted head and shoulders here, right? Shoulder, shoulder, head over here. Boom, gotcha. It's the way the market moves. Thank you, Zeke. Zeke's identified 24 as the start of the last upside gap. This is all built up on fluff. I don't believe, unless there's a news event, that we're going to come crashing through it. Usually it'll take some time, like a day or so. And everybody who is now screaming about get long, get long, get long, you know what? You had a great opportunity yesterday. Now is not the time to become wrong way Charlie and start beating the bushes and saying, yeah, I love the longs now. I love them. Don't. Keep your mind neutral. Just try to find those couple of points inside the range. Do it a couple of times and get out of the way.